Prompt Layer is a really fabulous tool when you're looking at kind of different types of prompts, reprompting, uh, as well as kind of being able to evaluate the output from prompts. I personally think it's a fabulous tool, and I'm really excited for Nahuel Porta, one of the founding engineers of Prompt Layer, to give a product demo. Nahuel, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Nahuel from Prompt Layer. If you're the kind of person who likes to have control over every aspect of your development process, whether that being monitorization, observability, version control, or CI/CD pipelines, then stay tuned because we have the prompt engineering platform for you. Right now, the rest of Prompt Layer team is working on customers' feature requests, improving our code base, and providing 24/7 support while we keep on pushing the edge of what the future could be with AI and LLM systems. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right, can you see my screen? Yes?
Yeah.
Right. So we intentionally build Prompt Layer as an interdisciplinary prompt engineering platform because we constantly see a lot of both technical and non-technical stakeholders collaborating on LLM applications. We see lawyers, health professionals, machine learning researchers, project managers, and engineers, all of them working together on Prompt Layer. Let me log myself into my account. Right. So we have workspaces. Let me pick the one I have a little demo for you. Right. So this is our dashboard. This is part of our product. Our product is both a dashboard and SDK for Python and an SDK for JavaScript. If you look at the left, you will see the request log stack. This is where you will be probably spending most of your time. And if you are integrating Prompt Layer with your LLM application, you want to see how it's running. So you will get that from here. Every time that you do an execution, you will have this, which is the prompt that is being inputted to the model and its response. You also have a few more stuff here that you can use. First off is linking that to an actual template because we allow you to store those in the registry. We'll be there in a minute. And you also have grouping. Maybe you're working on agents, you're working on a modularized system, and you want to keep logs separated. Well, that's what groups is for. You allow to group different request sets. You're also allowed to score them from 0 to 100. And you also can put custom stores here. You're allowed to share this page maybe with someone who is in another workspace or someone who is not from Prompt Layer at all. Maybe you want to do a Twitter demo, you can use this. And you're also allowed to set metadata. What's metadata for? Maybe in your application, the prompt is interacting with a specific user. Well, maybe you want to capture some information of how that's going. Maybe the browser he's coming from, other kind of stuff, and you want to have that somewhere. Well, this is the place for it. Right. So what's with this cost situation happening here? Well, this card is showing you a lot of information, how much time it took to run, what's the cost for it. I think, yeah, this is the latest GPT 3.5 model, and it's the one that's cost saving. So it's actually pretty cheap. We were testing that. You'll also see how much token you spend, the model params, and a bit more stuff. You will also have that, or a bit of that information from the analytics page. Yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is what's happening on your workspace, how much requests you've been putting, the ones you've been scoring, how much money you spend, your average latency, and yeah, other information. Let me go to the registry. I really want you guys to see this, and that is, this is where we store our prompts, right? When you, what we use here is templates. So maybe this one, right? We're allowing you to store two types of templates. One is completion. That's, yeah, you know what that is. And the others are chat completions. And those are a bit of composed templates, right? So you're allowed to put input variables here. We detect those automatically, both if you're using Jinja or Fstring. We allow both of them. And you will be able to maybe pull this from the registry using the SDK, filling in your input variables and running that. Or you maybe are using the playground, which we'll see in a minute, and you're allowed to fill those as well. You also have versions. This is nuts. This is really great. You're allowed to keep track of how your templates have been changing and what changes are those. You even have a little diff that is being done when you edit a prompt. Let me show you that. So yeah, some folks, it's been annoying, but right. So this is your template edition page. You will be right. Maybe you want to do something like this, or you want to modify your parameters, right? You want to set up a different, you want to change how this template is being run, or you want to change the model. I don't know. You want to put up some specific metadata, right? Or you want to set up a functions. We are offering this to users. That's a bit of a simpler way to add functions. You can do this from here, which I really like. It's even in a recursive situation, you might need to put specific structures to your functions, and you can do that from here. But you also have, of course, JSON for it. When you're done doing that, you will click on update, see, we call this commit message. So, right, and you will see what's changed, just like you do on GitHub. So if you're familiar, then this is closer to that. So, right, you will be able to use folders to organize your templates. That's what's happening here. You're also allowed to move a template between folders, duplicate them maybe in this workspace or another workspace, or to branch out from a specific version and make a new template out of that version. A thing that I really like is labels. This is great. Labels is amazing. With a label, you're allowed to retrieve a template using a label. For example, prod. We see prod here, we see dev too. Maybe in your applications, you are using prompts, and you have this prompt that you always use in your application, and you want to keep that frozen, right? If someone is playing around in the registry, someone from your team, someone, I don't know, you want to reduce the noise that's happening there, well, with a label, you're allowed to do that, because even if we put a new version here, the label will stay on version 7. So you will always get to have that. Even if you change it, for example, if I go here and do this, I will be moving my label. I will not be deleting and putting a new one. So you get zero downtime there. It's great. It's a great feature. So yeah, this is our registry. What's with the playground that you see here? Well, you can go to the playground directly, right? And just start something from scratch. But what most people do is whether they go from here, from the template to the playground, right? Maybe fill the variables yourself, or you can go from an existing request. Think of it as an evaluated template. Maybe you can go from here, and then you have it, right? Maybe you want to do a quick iteration over it, maybe try different parameters without modifying the template. You're allowed to do that here. Also put up functions, and when you run it, when you actually run the template, of course, you will get the request logs at the left. Right, so we have our request logs. At the homepage, you will see a bit of documentation. We've seen the registry, analytics. What's happening with the evaluate? And this is my favorite. Maybe you've seen GitHub GitHub Actions or GitLab CI/CD, right? To putting up pipelines for your code base. This is it for your prompt registry. this is how this allows you to trigger pipelines. This allows you to set up pipelines, and this allows you to do some other pipelining stuff. We'll see that. Right. So okay. So we have this template. That's AI answer, and we also have these other two columns, right? Okay, this is a pipeline that didn't run yet. This is like a blueprint, okay? This is picking from the dataset stock questions and answers. What's a dataset? A dataset is an Excel sheet or a CSV that you provide to this page, and each of the columns there will be variable names, and each row will be a variable value, right? Kind of simple. So you take that, you put that in your template, right? Each of those rows are being run to your template, and you get the output of that. Each of those is a specific run, right? So that's kind of answered. What's with the rack? Rack here is actually an API endpoint we're hitting. We call it rack because it's where we are keeping a vector database. If you are curious of why we call this investment body, well, that kind of explains it. We have a database with a bunch of investment information, stocks, assets, and we are trying to put up an LLM to analyze that, right? So, right, once we get the output of that, that's the fourth column, right? Once we get the output of that, we also do an evaluation. That's what this other template is doing. See, that's what's happening. Is one thing being evaluated, putting into another thing, being evaluated, putting into another thing, being evaluated. So what this offers you is, if you see here, we have Boolean's value, right? Okay, so what this allows us to do is to, well, this is letting me go into the request that is executed. That's what the little cake is there for. But what this allows us to do is to do metrics scoring and to retrieve a score from each of these pipeline executions. So that's really useful, right? You get those from GitHub, and those are really useful too. You have the batches, and when you go to a repository that you like or are interested, you are able to see those batches and say, okay, this has, I don't know, 80% coverage from test coverage, or I don't know, something like that. This has all of its dependencies updated, or that kind of information. That's really useful. So we do that from here, and we do that using this Boolean column. This is really easy to set up, like it's incredibly easy. And yeah, so once you get that score, and I think that this is one of the last things that I'm going to show you guys, that is, you are allowed to run that pipeline that you've been set up from here. So if you modify a template, I don't know, maybe do something like this, right? You, we go next. You're being allowed to set up a new run for your pipeline. You choose that one here, and once that's done, and if it has a column for evaluation, it will take that value and put it here. So from one place, that's the registry, you will be allowed to have all of the information you need to do all of these stages on prompt engineering. Whether that be in fine tuning, you can do that from here, right? Maybe you're want your model to be really specific on which how it should behave. You will do that from here. And maybe you need more context for your application, right? Maybe you need your model to be more smart, to have more information or a specific data set to be allowed to the model. Well, you can do that from the evaluate page, putting up a new rack. If you are doing that from a Python notebook or a Jupyter notebook, it works. It's great. If you offer me that and the evaluate page of this, I've been using the evaluate page, to be honest. So yep, that's what we do.
Awesome.
That's prompt layer.